AVF and TriLife Plus. This is again our second set in our rotation of our build 2 phase of our building and working a little bit on strengthening the knee and making sure we're doing a slow step and not putting too much pressure on the legs here. So you'll see there's not much leg work in our sets, but just enough to get the knee to get that strength in and not have that vulnerability, and to finish with some flare-ups for those who have that sensitive knees, right, that we've talked about before. So our first one here, getting some activation here, so getting into our lunge, a hip flexor lunge, to work on that hip. So the foot's a little bit further forward, and then we take a deep breath in and we breathe out, push forward, right? So deep breath in and then breathe out, trying to stay as square as possible, right? We don't want to open up. We're going to do that after. We want to make sure we're staying as square as possible to get into that beautiful lunge here, okay? Or a hip flexor push there. And again, when you're done, you're just flipping over to the other side, right back in and putting that pressure, open up and down, okay? So going into our lateral hip flexor. So instead of going forward, we're going to go right to the side. So your heel is right at the knee here, okay? So again, be careful here. You're working in your groin area. You want to make sure that you're not putting too much pressure here. So you go a little bit further, and now you're literally just going towards that side, but I want you to be facing forward, trying not to put that pressure in. I want you to just get that range and get that nice flip hip to open up for you. So out, and if you need a little bit of support, put your hand here if you want. You can have a stability ball in front of you to get that pressure. And again, it's a deep breath in, and then you exhale on the way out, right? And when you come back in, again, same thing. So you want at the level of the knee, you don't want to go too far back. So just to give you a little side view, right? So just like that, right? You don't want to come in out there. You want to be right in front of it. So you're isolating that hip a little bit more. Okay? Perfect. Next one, single arm row. Can be done in 2 ways. I prefer to not use necessarily the bench to put my knee on and to rest it. A lot of people put their knee down and rest that. I prefer to stay more anchored and get the core activated and get the legs on at all times. So I usually just put one arm on there, supported through that leg, core nice and solid, and then we're rolling right to the hip and working on our retraction, right? So we just don't want to pull with the bicep. We want to make sure we're getting that retraction and pulling through our back here, okay? So just to give you a couple of reps here, rotate, we're not rotating, right? We're staying as square as we can, create that rotation. Okay, next one, standing bicep curl. Very simple, right back up. Make sure we're turning, right? As soon as we pass that hip, we want to turn, right? And I want you to complete it all the way up. There's no sway. You want to stay as static as possible, and you're getting that nice pull and down, right? Look at that nice tempo. Slow it right back down. That makes sense? Okay? Nice and controlled. Next one is your medial to lateral raise, shoulder raise. So your deltoids, working on those deltoids. So this is your lateral raise, coming right back in, and medial. So I don't want you to just isolate lateral and then go into medial. I really want you to try to go lateral, then right into medial. Right back down, lateral, and then coming right back in, medial, and slow it right down, right? No speed, right? This is ugly. Don't want to do that. Nice and controlled on the way up. Beautiful. Okay. So your next one, we talked about this one before, so it's your supported squat. So I want you to try to get a little bit more range without having that pressure coming into just doing a body weight squat, because I know you guys, some of you guys are having some sensitive knees. So as we talked about, is using a doorway to work your way down to increase that range of motion and get that full flexion into the knee and into the hip to get that squat, right? If you don't, well, everybody has a doorway. If not, you can literally come in and use some stairs and help yourself out to get that support as well, right? You can do that. Okay, well, last 2, side plank. So side plank here, you can do it 2 ways. I'll show you the first one. So when you're coming up, okay, so leg off the ground, knee bent slightly. You're gonna bring the hips up and then you're gonna work the hips forward, okay? Right back down, kiss the ground, and then right back up, hips forward. Nice, and again, make sure you're supported with that hand down. You don't wanna open up here where you get that vulnerability into the shoulder. You wanna be nice and controlled here, and then up from there, okay? Once you've done your number of reps that are prescribed for you, then you're coming in, turning around. For me, I'll just make sure I face the camera, and then you're just doing the other side, right? You can have your hand straight up. You can have it on your hands, on your hips, sorry, and right back down, just like that. Okay? Last one on the set, elbows to knee crunch. So starting with slightly open knee here, you can decide wherever you really want it, and your elbows bent just a bit, and then you're crunching up, elbows to knees, and then right back down, just touch the ground, and then come right back up. Good crunch here, and down. Try not to sway up, and then come back in, right? You want to be nice and controlled, and work your way down nice and slow. Making sure you're working on the eccentric motion, right? So when that muscle's getting longer, you want to make that work too. Okay? So that's your second rotation, second set in that build into the strengthening of the knee face. And that's that. And if you have any questions, again, you guys know where to reach me. Hope you enjoyed the video.